The Dakar Rally is really the world's toughest motorsport rally. It's 14 days. You basically are in the car for 700 to 800 plus kilometres every day. You're driving through every type of desert, rocky terrain you can imagine, and trying to go as fast as you can whilst looking after the car and dealing with all those elements in between. We had some great days. We were 6th overall in a couple of stages and generally sort of running in the top 10, and then a couple of issues, a couple of mistakes. One day we lost about 3.5 hours in the desert, and to finish the stage in the sand dunes in the dark, and our brakes caught on fire one day and had to put out a fire with the camelbacks in our car. And so you have all these crazy experiences that you kind of, it's really just about gritting your teeth and getting through it, and the aim was always to be a Dakar finisher, and that's certainly a tough thing to do in itself, so we're really happy with that. And I think we also are really excited about the potential we could see, the competitiveness at many times, and then it's just about learning everything else and piecing it all together. So we're really motivated to go back and give it another crack. Yeah, so they say, if you're cresting over a dune, worst case scenario, it's 37 degrees. But I'm third generation motorsport enthusiast. My granddad started rallying with my mum, actually. That's how my mum got involved. My mum and dad met at a car club Christmas party. So I grew up watching rally cars since I can remember. Well, I reckon it was a couple hundred metres, but then someone came back and said it was, all that like 80-metre dune or something. It was around the time I was getting my driving licence for the road, and my dad was running a rally school at the time, and he wanted my sister and myself to go out and have a drive of the rally cars in a closed road environment and learn how to be competent at driving a manual, learn some basic car control on a loose surface and all of those things, just to better prepare us to be safer, better drivers on the road. And I think for me, when I had the opportunity to actually get behind the wheel of a rally car, it kind of all clicked, and I understood why it had been my whole family's obsession and what I saw my parents throwing their whole life and passion into, because it was just so much fun. Winning the championship in Australia in 2016 was, personally a massive moment for me. It's always your dream when you start out to win a goal like that. And for me personally, I just wanted to win, whether I was the first or the 10th or the 100th female to do so. It wasn't so relevant from my perspective, but I can see the influence and effect that it can have on young girls, and to be part of helping other people come up through our sport is something I'm hugely passionate about. I think for me it's just, I love driving and I love the challenge. So when you talk about going from rallying to off-road to Extreme E, Dakar, they're all new challenges, and I love the thought of trying to learn something new and try and taking that on. One of the biggest physical and mental challenges in racing is being able to be in those really hot, in a rally car up to 60 degrees for a long period of time in an element where you have to maintain 100% focus. So to be able to be physically strong enough to cope with all those demands and still remain mentally sharp is the priority. So a lot of mix of strength and cardio and heat adaptation, and hydration. Hydration is super critical. Your mental cognition and focus drops dramatically just from a small decrease or a little bit of dehydration. So it's super important that you don't ever let yourself get to that point. So you always need to make sure that you're topped up. From a diet perspective, obviously you need to be able to concentrate for a long period of time. So having that, not having those highs and lows and being physically and mentally sharp is the most important thing. So that's where the nutrition can play a massive role in that side, in being able to help your concentration and endurance. So that's certainly important on events. I think, one of the things coming back from Dakar, one of the great things about Dakar was because you were out all day. When you came back at night, you could eat pretty much as much as you wanted, so that was great. But it's about having lots of slow releasing carbohydrates, protein and all of those bases, so you're not having these big highs and these big lows. It can be an amazing sport and also so brutal, and you're trying to drive on the edge in an environment that's always changing, and sometimes it goes right and sometimes it goes wrong, and it's really important to be able to only focus on what you need to in that moment, and then pick yourself up when it goes bad as well. So we always say it's character building. So every time something happens, character building, and sometimes you think, oh, I'm happy with my character now. That's enough. That's enough character building challenges. But yeah, it is part of the sport, and I think it's like anything when you have to go through those really tough times and sacrifices and all those lows. When you do get that success and those highs, that feeling is unbeatable.